My name is Tanya, I'm a graphic designer from Russia and I have been making videos for YouTube for the past 3 months and I want to share what I've learned. And I think I need more authority for this. What do you think? That's better. And so, let's start with some stats. I have made 15 videos since the January 1st and I've gained a total of 10 subscribers and one of them is me. Is it important? No. Why? Because process is more important than the results. At least for me, otherwise I would have stopped by now. And I actually like editing, which is a surprise and something that I've learned about myself. And that's an important lesson. If you want to do something, you need to enjoy it, otherwise it's not going to work. I like making videos more than I like being a YouTuber, so to speak, even though I'm not a YouTuber. But I like the process more than the outcome, and it means that I have a chance of doing it for a long time. And this way I can learn and figure out what I'm doing, because that's the most important point that I've discovered about this whole thing. I don't know who I am and I don't know what I want. If you watch the YouTuber beginner videos of any kind, the first thing that everybody says is find your niche, find your one and true thing that you're going to talk about. And I think that A, it's kind of true, but B, it's not, because if you want to be your true authentic self, and some people don't, but if you do, you don't want to have too small of a box to put yourself in. An example of a small box is a draw with me type of video, where you only see the hands and the thing that's drawn, and it has actually room to grow. You can start showing your face, you can start talking about your process, but initially it's a very small box and it's easy to do, and a lot of people kind of start with a very small box and then they extend the size of their box, so to speak. But I don't have a box that I'm interested in fitting right now because I don't know who I am. I'm a graphic designer, but I don't want to be talking about graphic design because I don't see myself as an expert. I want to do projects, but I think that certain crafting projects, if they take too much time, they're kind of boring to watch. So the way I see it is like this. You can have a project or a personality. Sometimes you have both, but you need to have at least one. If you have an abandoned house that you're renovating, that's a project. If you make sew with me videos and you make things in a week or in a couple of weeks, that's a project type of stuff. If you do draw with me videos, that's a project and you can see the whole thing from beginning to end. If you're a personality type of YouTuber, you do fun things, or you travel, or you see things, or you meet people, or something's happening with you, something, you need to be an interesting person. Or you need to do kind of a self-development type of project, and then it's a project. I don't have a big project right now. I have an idea of a medium-sized project. I want to make a sewing room for myself, but I haven't started this yet because I'm too afraid to start and not finish. Um, and so, because I don't know how to kind of frame myself, I don't know what I want to be doing. And even though the main reason to put yourself in a box is to kind of be able to market what you're doing, to find an audience, and even if, like me, you're not trying to become super famous, it's nice to have, well, some audience. It would be nice to get some views and maybe some interaction with people. So, some kind of box would be nice, but I need to figure this out. I don't know who I am and what I'm doing. And it's one of those things where you kind of theoretically know something, but until you start doing things practically and apply the knowledge, you don't really know. You know what I mean? Like, I know, and that's one of the things that I've discovered by filming myself, is that theoretically, when a person puts on nice clothes and maybe some makeup, but you need to know what you're doing for that. But if you just dress nicely, you will look nicer. Uh, that's the kind of knowledge that I kind of had theoretically. But practically, I thought that if I dress nicer, I'm just going to look like me, which is bad, but in a nicer clothes. Practically, I've discovered that if I actually put a nice dress on, I'm going to look nicer. Who knew? And the whole thing about, getting used to the sound of your voice, you get used to the sound of your voice and you get used to the way you look. And even if you don't like yourself, you kind of get used to having to deal with the fact that you don't like the way you look, but that's the only body you have, so you have to watch yourself. And it actually makes some things easier and some things makes more useful. Like think I've gained weight because I haven't been weighing myself and I'm just looking at my face and I've gained weight. So it kind of keeps me in check, but we'll see if it actually helps. So yeah, the other minor thing that I've noticed is that equipment doesn't actually matter. I'm filming on an iPhone 11 Pro. It's pre-COVID. It was released in 2019 and it's doing just fine. It's a great camera. You need to have a decent phone, but you don't have to have the best phone in the world, and you don't need a camera, especially if you have something to say. Yeah. I can show you the setup. I've just purchased a new microphone. It's an on-camera microphone and I keep looking at it. I don't even know if it's going to make my sound any better, but I'm going to try. So this is how my setup looks like. Getting back to the big questions. Who I am, what I want. I'm a little bit late at recognizing certain things. but it's something that I should have figured out a long time ago, but I didn't. But better late than never. And I haven't figured it out yet. I have a big dream of buying a little house and renovating it to my heart's desire, and I want to make it look whimsical and cool and all that. But unfortunately I don't have money, skills, and time, which are kind of required. Um, the important question is, what am I going to do about this? Because I need to figure out what I want to be when I grow up and what I want to do when I grow up. And so far, no idea, to be honest. I'm going to keep trying to throw things at a wall and see what sticks. I think that I'm going to make less crafty videos because I just find them very repetitive. And the best thing I can imagine is to take a month to make one big project and to have a grand reveal at the end, because otherwise it's just a disappointment. And in order to make 4 videos a month, if each project takes a month, I would have to have 4 or 5 projects going on simultaneously, and that's not going to happen. I don't know what's next, because so far I'm just figuring out the process, and that's fine. And the great thing is there's only like 9 people watching. Well, honestly, 3 people are watching, including myself. So I'm not afraid to mess things up. The goal is always to make good videos, even though they might be super short. I want to make something nice, something that looks nice, something that has a story, something that has an idea. I actually really liked my video about when I made a dress. I need to change the thumbnail because nobody watched it, and it actually is good. I really like the video that I made about me sitting in silence because it's solid. It's just an art piece, and it was a lot of fun to make, and I think that it's a lot of fun to watch, especially if you need a break for 5 minutes or so. And I've discovered that when you make something all the time, and if you're kind of involved in the process of making something, you don't run out of ideas. Especially if you don't care what people think. It's really cool and liberating, and I have more ideas than I can make because I don't have time. But it's really interesting how I started out thinking that, oh, I'm going to run out of things that I can show, but actually, even though I live in the middle of nowhere and nothing's happening, there are always things that I can find that can be kind of visually interesting. I've discovered something interesting about 20 years ago when I picked up a photo camera, and that is when you have a photo camera on you, you start to see the world differently. And back in the day, you had to have a separate device to take photographs. And it kind of changes the way you see the world around you. Nowadays, we don't do that intentionally. We don't carry a camera usually, unless we do. Some people do, but they're special. If you don't carry a camera with you intentionally, you probably don't get that effect. But there are so many beautiful things around us, and so many ways that light hits things, and watching that is very interesting. And when you discover the world of photography and videography, you can create so many beautiful things if you kind of work on the skills that are required to do that. And what I want most of all is to find a style of storytelling that's going to suit me. I need to find a box that I'm going to fit in that's not going to be too small for me, because I need some kind of a box. I'm all over the place. I need to get myself together. I need to get some discipline and figure out a way to make something beautiful with what I have and with the limited time that I have, and see where it gets me. I want the next 3 months to be more intentional. And I'm going to end it there, otherwise I'm going to fail the challenge because I only have a couple hours to upload this thing.